and welcome back to my channel. I honestly cannot believe that I have been here for a year. Like, I honestly don't know where the time has gone. Now, if you haven't seen my first video, which is this one, I would highly recommend going to watch it, as there's a lot of tips in there that I feel is still very useful and very helpful, especially in the first stages of moving. So these are a few things that I have now learned after being here for a year. So basically, learn from my mistakes. I'm living the mistakes so that you don't have to. So my first advice is, whatever budget you have in mind of how much your monthly bills and everything is going to be, I would suggest probably adding another £100 to £150 on top of that. Now, there are some areas that I highly underestimated. For example, I'm spending a lot less money on food than I assumed I would. However, I'm spending a lot more on petrol than I thought I would. So I would suggest whatever you have as a monthly budget, that you would add £100 and £150 more onto that. A few things that you will probably be paying for, just in case you don't know what bills there are or what comes with a house. Obviously, this is only due to renting, because I do rent. Obviously, I haven't bought this place, so I can't judge it on that. But these are the things that I personally pay for that has, I guess, to do with moving in the house. So obviously there is rent, council tax. Remember, if you are moving alone, you do get, I think it's 20% off, like a discount. I mean, it's still a high amount. I mean, I think I pay like £85 a month for my council tax, and it would have been, I think, 120. Your gas, your electric, your water, Netflix, and TV license if you happen to have a TV license. I don't. I just pay for Netflix and Prime. Your Wi-Fi, your travel, whether that is petrol or train to work, food, and obviously within the food that will also count as like cleaning products that you would have to buy monthly, you know, like toilet roll and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure that is what I pay a month just to do with the house. Oh, and insurance. I got out insurance just in case, because the insurance that the landlord has for the property, if they happen to, I'm pretty sure they would, but that doesn't cover you, just so you know. So I got out an insurance. It came with like the car insurance that I got. It was like an add-on for cheaper. It just covers my items, because if anything was to happen, their insurance doesn't cover my stuff. So that's also something to keep in mind. Moving out is expensive, and I tell ya, I am struggling. Like, I didn't think I would struggle this much. The only reason I'm struggling is because I've decided to also pay a high summer month to get rid of my debt. Once that's gone, I'll be okay. However, until then, I am literally living paycheck to paycheck. So yeah, moving out is a lot more expensive than you assume. And with that being said, you know when like your parents would say, oh, we've got food at home? Yeah, you're gonna say that a lot to yourself as well. And trust me, if you don't know how to cook, I would suggest learning how to now, because you're gonna want to cook meals a lot. That is also including lunches, because it costs a lot of money. Imagine you're spending a £5 on your lunch a day when you're out at work, okay? That's including your snacks, your drink, and your lunch, okay? £5 minimum a day. So that is, and you work 5 days. So that's £25. That's about 100 quid you're just spending on lunches. That's not including your takeaways when you get home. So trust me, learn to batch cook. Batch cook will be a lifesaver. I've got a soup, I've got 2 spag bowls, I've got 2 curries, and I've got a chili con carne currently in the freezer. And especially if you're like working and you come home and you don't get in to about 7, and then by the time you cook it's gonna be 8 o'clock, and then you really can't be arsed and you just want to go get that takeaway. Those batch cookings that you can just get from the freezer, honestly, lifesaver. Because honestly, you don't realise how much a takeaway like adds up. Me personally, even if I'm just buying for myself and that's not including having someone here, I'm spending about £20 minimum on a takeaway. Now that £20 would cover, that's either my phone bill or that is my electric for the month. You know, that £20 that you have spent could literally cover another bill, but you've just wasted it, as to say, because I'm pretty sure you've probably got food indoors. It's just out of pure laziness. I'm not saying obviously you can never have a takeaway again. I'm just saying try not to make it a regular thing. I'm still guilty of having the takeaways. I'm just saying they add up. And it's not until when you're coming to the last week of your pay and you're like, oh, I could have really done with that 30 quid that I spent on that Chinese. All right, number 3, furniture is expensive. It is so expensive. Like, I've been here for a year and the dining room and my bedroom is still pretty much empty. Like, my bedroom currently just has a bed, a chest of drawers, and a TV in it. That's all it has. The only room that is really complete is the dressing room, and that's because that was my main thing I wanted to complete. But yeah, when they say a home is never really complete, like, I understand, because yeah, I don't know when I'm ever gonna be completed. This also kind of goes in with point 4, which is, especially if you're renting, that you will probably be in that property a lot longer than you assumed. I know I'm gonna be here for a minimum 2, probably 3 years, because imagine, especially if it's moving for the first time, imagine I have moved here and by the time, I mean, I haven't even finished it, but by the time I probably would have finished it, it would have been time to pack up and move somewhere else. And what's the point? So yeah, you'll probably be in your property a lot longer than you assumed so, but also keep in mind as well that then when it comes to your budgeting, you will probably have your rent increased. I mean, I know mine has increased. I knew that that was going to happen when I first moved in anyway. Just keep that in mind, that if you have budgeted to fit your wage and you have reached your max, and if you will probably stay in this property for longer, and the rent is more than likely going to go up. So please keep that in mind as well. What other things have I learned? I've learned to really enjoy my company. Obviously, again, this is speaking to if you're moving like by yourself. You do kind of learn to enjoy your own company, because otherwise it does get very lonely. I mean, I moved into an area where I know 2 people. One of them has 2 kids, so she's not really available. And the second person is a workaholic, and so she's always working and she's never free for me. I have made one other friend since moving here, but he is also always busy. So I'm like, oh, I'm lonely. Does anyone know of any ways that you can make new friends in a new area? I mean, I know it's hard to do it in a pandemic and we're in a lockdown and we can't go out. Oh, excuse me. But when that's not the case, like, how do you meet new people? Like, don't get me wrong, my friends do come and visit me. I don't live that far out. It's not like I'm living hours away. And they do visit me and we do go out. It'd still be nice for, like, to just ring up somebody, like, in the area and be like, oh, hey, do you fancy going for, like, lunch? Or something like that. I'll meet you down at whatever. I don't have that here. It would be, like, especially as I don't work around here either, like, there's no way for me to meet new people around here. And that's kind of shitty. If anyone has any advice to how you can, is there, like, an app where I can make friends? Because Tinder's just for guys. I don't want to just meet guys. And they're only gonna want one thing. Especially if I'm finding them on Tinder. Is there like a Tinder for friends? Because that's what I want. So yeah, you will learn to, like, enjoy your own company. Which isn't a bad thing at all. Because at the end of the day, you are stuck with you for the rest of your life. You definitely start to become your parents. Like, like, I realised that when I moved. Like, you're like, why is the big light on? Why is every light in the house on? You're cold, put on a jumper. Like, you do become that person. I think that's all the things I have learnt so far. Is definitely up your budget slightly. Definitely gonna want to learn how to cook. Can get lonely. You're gonna be in your property for a lot longer. So keep in mind that your rent will probably go up. Furniture is bloody expensive. Keep those things in mind before you move. And if you know of any tips where I can make friends, please let me know. And if you find this useful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I shall see you next time.